Hello everyone and welcome back to Definitely Cricket. Now, this is a very quirky name because we have gotten Sean Walsh, who is one of my great friends as well as he has played for Australian Deaf cricket team. Now, in this podcast, we won't be talking to you about only cricket, but also the deaf side of things, how deaf cricket has evolved in Australia as well as how players like Sean have gotten chance to play for Australia and represent Australia at the highest level and also ask him about his expertise in the sport and how his experience helps us to talk about cricket. And it's been just amazing to know Sean and how much he has valued Australia's cap. So thank you, Sean, for joining me and happy to have you on this journey with us.
Amazing, mate. No, very excited to be a part of starting a podcast. It's something I've been talking about for a very long time, and I obviously love the game very much, and looking forward to talking to you. Obviously, really respected cricket journalist around Australia, and we have a lot of conversations like this as it is away from this kind of platform. So we might as well put it on record and make sure that we can go back to our predictions and see how wrong we were.
That's very true. I want to start like so that people also know who you are. What has been your journey like? How difficult has it been, or how ups and downs have you seen in your life till now to play deaf cricket for Australia?
Yeah, I think my thing's always been I just love the game, mate. So that's always been the thing for me is cricket's allowed me to create an identity and create a community around me
Yeah.
that I really love and enjoy. It's brought me to Brisbane. It's brought me amazing friends. It's I've been able to travel around the world, which is amazing, mate. I'm so lucky to do what I get to do, and yeah, the ups and downs are obviously like any semi-professional athlete, working a job, multiple jobs, or trying to get through. Just making sure that there's always that light at the end of the tunnel, and
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for the support that we've had from Cricket Australia and to be able to live out my dream, play cricket for Australia.
So how many matches and like how much experience have you gotten in these past 4 years playing for Australia?
Yeah, I've been so lucky. I debuted 2018, so I think I'm around that 25 game mark now for Australia. So I've been really lucky to be involved in 5 or 6 tours now. We played one at this very ground here at North a couple of 3 years ago, an Ashes series, and definitely some other things in the future with franchise disability cricket that's starting to take off. So yeah, really excited to be a part of the growth of the sport. And at 28, mate, I'm hopeful that I've still got a few more years left in me.
That's really good. Now, today's talking point, WTC final is here, and it's the most anticipated, like I think, competition in this year, except the Ashes. Ashes hold another level, but WTC final facing South Africa, facing Australia. It's gonna be a good matchup. Like whenever South Africa plays Australia, it's always a tough competition. The best sides against each other.
Absolutely, yeah. South Africa have done a fantastic job to make it to the final. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about their fixtures and their scheduling, but the thing about cricket is you can only play who's put in front of you, and South Africa, since obviously taking that team to New Zealand, the clash with the SA20, they've
Yep.
been able to go on a lot of overseas tours. They've taken test off Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. They took a one-off test in India.
Yeah.
They've been really fantastic to what they've been able to do. Especially that India win at home was fantastic for them. In South Africa, obviously, Australia's the same old, just rolling through. Obviously, the WTC cycle started that Lord's Test match
Yep.
all the way to literally 24 months ago, basically to the day. And it's just been a great journey for that 11 and that squad. There has been a lot of debutantes in that 2 years. It's been fantastic to see the growth of the team, and yeah, it should be an absolutely fantastic matchup.
So when we talk about Australia and South Africa, we like remember the likes of Donald facing Ricky Ponting. So are there any players like which you have admired over the years in this specific rivalry?
Yeah, it's always been a fantastic matchup. I know South Africa took a few series off us coming over here in the late 2000s. I think in 2008, I think they would have taken a test series off us, and then yeah, just obviously their bowling attack as a kid was just fantastic when you have Morne Morkel, Dale Steyn, and then you get the likes of Vernon Philander as well.
Yep.
But their batting's always been unbelievable. Yeah, growing up watching Graham Smith just grind runs. AB de Villiers is obviously a freak of what he did, and then yeah, you get guys like Quinton de Kock Obviously, probably the one thing that they haven't had South Africa is a good spinner, which is a
Oh,
shame.
yeah.
For a long period of time, obviously, we'll touch on Keith Marahosh later, but yeah, obviously, those battles have been fantastic, and obviously, 2018 was the head of that.
Oh,
That series was crazy, and to think back on that as to what that happened, but I think the animosity between the sides has broken down a lot since then. Those two being able to play in the IPL together,
oh yeah.
a lot of those countries, Tristan Starr was playing with Mitch Stark
Yeah.
at DC this year, and a lot of those players playing at SA20 and different things like that. So yeah, I think franchise cricket is all about that I suppose inter-player
Yeah.
rivalry to break down, but the two countries still had each other for sure.
So, as you mentioned that 2018, it was the last time I think Australia played South Africa on a foreign soil, like outside Australia's home. Now they're facing at Lords. Lords is the mecca of cricket. It's the home of cricket. It's where players' careers have taken off. It's the place where a lot of cricketers have ended their careers in glory. Now, seeing this Australian rivalry with South Africa, Australia have a lot of cricketers who can go after this game, like Steve Smith. He might call off on the game, like in this career specifically, that yeah, I'm not gonna play anymore, or maybe that. But do you think Steve Smith will continue till Ashes, or is this gonna be his last game?
It's a great question, and it's been something that's been spoken about, and I think the thing about Steve Smith is we know that he's a bit of a quirky character, and I think he's spent a lot of time in New York, and I know he's been trying to get away from the game. So hopefully that little that reset has given him more of a prolonged career. Obviously, he's still the best number four in the country, quite a long way, and obviously opening the batting didn't quite work out the way he would have liked. Obviously, we were at that game, that West Indies Test match where he made that really good 90,
90, yeah.
and really before Shamar Joseph
Shamar
obviously ran
just
through us.
ran.
But yeah, he grinded away, and I think his best spot's number four. And Andrew McDonald's come out and said that he will bat at number four in this WTC. As to whether he kicks on, mate, I really hope so. I think he's definitely still one of the best batters in the world, but I think what he provides for that 11 is some leadership and also really underrated. Part of going, especially to England, is playing at Lords.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of catches in the Gordon, and he's probably
The
arguably the greatest slip fielder in the
the
world.
quickest one, I would say, the most agile, the
Yeah.
most fittest slip fielder I've ever seen. Like he jumps off and he grabs like a lot of good catches. And I think Australia's strength has been because of that, because he's in the slip, so bowlers don't have to worry that, oh, if someone nicks it and it's gonna go for a four. Steve Smith gets those catches which are literally impossible.
Absolutely.
He will put himself out there 200% into the slips, and you never know like what he can do. Talking about Lords and Steve Smith, we have seen immense of him. The 2019 series, he was like a freakish player. He was a freak. He boiled down England to a point that they were begging for him to stop. Now,
Yeah.
Lords have this matchup with Steve Smith that he has scored 525 runs till now in his whole career at Lords, and he has played handful of games.
Yeah.
Even talking about him, Rabada and Steve Smith, they have a really good partnership. I would say they are lovebirds set up in the mecca of cricket. I would say they're gonna take on against each other, because the 2018 series, I still remember that Rabada was furious. He just pushed Steve Smith a little bit, and he got literally demerit points for that. Those two against each other, where Rabada has taken 13 wickets in two matches, and Steve Smith has an impeccable record. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, it's an absolute cracker, Rashab. It's one of the matchups to watch for the WTC final. I think Kasijo Rabada is an absolute freak of a talent and has been the thorn in Australia's side for a very long time. His ability to swing the ball both ways with the new ball, but then change gears and hit back for length and become dangerous in his second, third, and fourth spell is unbelievable. And I think having watched him play England at Lords, I think last summer or the summer before when South Africa toured, he was an absolute handful.
Yeah.
Getting the ball back up the slope is going to be a really tough battle for the Australian opening batters, and I think what South Africa has with KG is just that, as you said, that aura and that presence. And obviously there's been a few injuries with some experienced bowlers for the South African lineup that we'll touch on a little bit later with that.
Yeah.
But I think South Africa's 11 looks a lot more formidable with Rabada in it, and I think his ability on the big stage to want to be the man is
Yeah.
something that's incredibly powerful for the South African team.
Yep. Now, this match is being played in June, which is early summer. I would say it's not the peak of the summer, but it's like early summer, finishing winters. So the conditions will be quite like chilly, and it's absolute like best time for the fast bowlers to dominate. But who will be your like? What do you think? The million-dollar question is, will South Africa, because it's being played in the first half of the June, which is the early summers and like the finishing of winters, which tells us that it's gonna be a little bit chilly, it's gonna be a little bit cold, but the best time for fast bowlers to dominate this whole competition. So how do you think like South Africa are gonna go with 3 pacers or 4 pacers?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the way that South Africa stack up will be very reliant on Leon Mulder playing at six. I think that bowling attack that they have of Gidi,
Yeah.
Keshav Maharaj, and then Marco Jansen with
Yeah.
Rabada. I think works. Darnay Patterson has also played a lot of tests for South Africa
Yeah.
in this cycle. A really crafty bowler. He's played a lot of county cricket.
Yeah.
I think he's at Leicester from memory. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So I'm sure someone will correct me there. But yeah, Leon Mulder's a really great player, a really handy player. He's played a lot for South Africa in this
Yep.
cycle. And he's obviously a really handy hit seam as well as David Betty who can bowl seam up as well. So I think it's probably more of a look up and look down scenario in the UK. Obviously, you look at mentioning it being June and really early on. It's been quite dry in the UK, so it might take a bit of turn. So I definitely think potentially day 4 and 5. I think that Keshav Maharaj comes into the game with potentially a little bit of foot marks and a bit of rough.
Yeah.
He's a really handy bowler. I think also you look at South Africa's lineup, the big counter to that could be Aiden Markram. And,
Right.
obviously very handy with spinners, bowlers, overs in the IPL. And I think with Australia's top order, I think the more right-handers that they have, obviously you look through that potential 11 with Labuschagne, Smith, and then you've got Green at 6.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of right-handers, so I think Maharaj will be dangerous.
Dangerous. And it's good that you mentioned Cameron Green. Cameron Green has been the undertaker of the Australian team, I would mention in that way, because he has come up from nowhere, he has played county cricket and he has dominated. He has not just scored runs, he has scored heaps of runs
Yeah.
coming into this matchup. And now, because of him, Sam Constas has to take a hit because you can't play a 19-year-old or against the South African bowlers because you need Cameron Green into your side.
Yep.
Now, what qualities or what skills does Cameron Green comes with into this competition? Because he's playing as a sole batter,
Yep.
not even as a fast bowler.
Yep.
So that would change the whole composition of the Australian lineup actually.
Definitely.
It will take Sam Constas off. It may get Bo Webster into the side again. So what do you think? Because I think that Bo Webster gets a chance.
Yep.
He hasn't done anything wrong. Sam Constas can get a chance in West Indies. It's fine. It's one of those matches where Sam Constas needs to learn the patience of waiting. But looking forward to this, 2 questions. Hazelwood or Boland? Or is it gonna be Manas or someone else out of the blue playing in the first 5?
Yeah, it's a really good problem to have in an Australian top order that you've got 7-8 batters to try and fit into 6. I think from my opinion, I think Marnus Labuschagne deserves an opportunity at the top of the order.
Yeah.
I think if that's the way that they shuffle the 11, Cameron Green has been fantastic for Gloucester. He's killed off 300s. And,
Yeah.
he's just a class player. I think he adds, I think a really underrated thing he adds for the Australian 11 it's just that length difference between the bowlers, between his height. It's a really hard matchup for bowlers. You have to be you have to drag your length back a lot with Cameron Green. He's such a tall player and he gets on the front foot a lot.
Yeah.
He really mixes up that bowling, that length, and
Yeah.
for those bowlers, those South African bowlers really have to almost hit an 8-9 metre length to be competitive against Cameron Green,
Yeah.
where with the rest of the batters you're probably sitting around that 5 to 7 metre mark. So the other thing is he's a fantastic gully fielder as well, obviously. Going off form, he's obviously had a very long road back, and it's fantastic to see the big fella back in the baggy green again. He's obviously a good generational talent,
Yeah.
and from all reports from the UK, he has been bowling a little bit. He
Yeah.
obviously won't be ready to bowl
Yeah, until the Ashes, I
until
believe.
this summer.
Yeah.
But it's great to see him back in the 11, and I think what he does for that 11 is just adds a really classy batter. Obviously, Sam Cox is a fantastic young talent, and as you said, Rishabh, I think he'll get an opportunity in the West Indies potentially. I think the way that they shake that 11 up with a one-off game, I think with Cam Green's experience playing in the UK now, having a couple of obviously having 3 or 4 first class games over there with Gloucester, and I think he's in the best top 6 batters in Australia, sure.
That's very true. Now, coming to our predictions, because it's a dicey thing. It's a matchup of two greats. Like, South African team has been the most improved team in the last 2 years. Australia has been dominating in the past, like in this WTC final, WTC cycle. Huh? What do you think? Who's gonna win? Like, not just being an Aussie and saying Australia,
Yeah,
but
no.
who has the upper hand in this game?
Yeah, I think South Africa's opportunity will be to get in early with the ball and with that bowling attack that we've mentioned, with Jansen, Nagidi, being able to use that new ball potentially is their best opportunity to get into the Australian order early on. I think Australia's just got too much class across their batting lineup. I think South Africa's batting is potentially a little bit there. Ada Markram's obviously a quality player at the top, but then you've got the Aussie Stubbs, Rickleton, who are obviously really great players, but probably haven't really had the opportunity to play a big series like and a big game like this. And obviously, when you play, obviously no offense to South Africa, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, but when you play Star Cummins Hazelwood coming through your chest, it's a little bit different to a Sifa Fernando bowling 105 k's an hour. So I think South Africa's best opportunity in this game is to get the ball in hand early and challenge the Australian top order and potentially break into that middle order with Head, Carey and Webster. Obviously, definitely Australia bats very deep. I think the one selection question for Australia will be whether Hazelwood or Boland plays, and I think either or, you've got a formidable bowling attack there, and I think Australia will just have too much class with the ball. Nathan Lyon took 10 for the last time. The time before he blew his calf out at Lords, he's fantastic at Lords, and the way he spins it up the slope and creates a lot of drift, he's really dangerous in those conditions. So yeah, I think South Africa's best chance, as I said, mate, is to get the ball in their hand early. But I think if any Australians that are watching, I think really don't underestimate that South African team. I think it is a great team, and the team that they brought here 2 years ago, it's a lot different now. They have a lot of class players. I think as a player to watch for Australia, I think Tony Jawsey is a really great young player. He's been around a little bit now. I think he's played 10, 15 test matches, but he's a really classy left-hander. I think he's a good matchup for the Australian, for the South Africans against the Australian bowlers. He's scored some really big runs in South African first-class cricket. I think he's averaging north of 70 so far as of last season. So yeah, really classy player. But I think Australia's just playing up a little bit too much class, mate.
Like my prediction would be, I think South Africa will have an upper hand. Australia has to take a hit on this WTC final, but yeah, I would want South Africa to win at least one silverware, get one silverware in their trophy cabinet, so that it at least starts a catalyst effect. But yeah, player for me to look out would be Kagiso Rabada. If he has a good game, I think South Africa will win this match. If Rabada doesn't perform, then I would want someone in the batting lineup to step up and score some heavy runs, because it's as I said, it's the early of June. It will swing, it will seem a lot, but you need someone with a strong grit, like someone like Temba Bowuma to step up to lead the side, lead the pack, and get them their first ICC trophy. So
yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
it's a good matchup. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please follow Definitely Cricket on Instagram and TikTok, and we will be coming up with more episodes like these. We will have more guests as well coming into the episode. A lot of Australian deaf cricketers, a lot of Australian cricketers as well. So keep subscribing Definitely Cricket, and thank you, Sean, for being here today. And
thank you, mate.
Happy to start this journey with you.
Brilliant, mate.
And
thanks so much.
A shout out to Blaze Cricket as well.
Yeah, thanks so much to Blaze Cricket for supporting the podcast. Obviously, fantastic. If you're looking for an indoor cricket facility in the G-Bung, North Brisbane area, head to blazecricket.com.au and book your net today.
Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.